Right. So the idea is going to be to carry on with these, build the lifts up because they're going to be integrated in the room, and start texturing. I'm still debating what the wall should look like. I'll get around to that in a minute. I'm sort of confused with this at the minute. Right, anyway, I'm rambling at that. So let's... So I think what I remember looking at last time and then comparing it to, I realised that these lifts are going to be a hell of a lot bigger than they should be. That's not going to be the case. I am going to just keep it as it is, but then I'm going to expand some of these areas a little bit to make them a little bit bigger. Seriously, I put the render there, and then people are like, well, you know. Hang on a minute, let me see if I can see why I did that. So I don't want to try and shrink it down because I want people to actually see as I'm working, but at the same time I need it to be let me just rename that so I know what it is. Right. Oh, plug that there so you can kind of see what's going on. Right. So I'm going to build the lifts now. Like I said, the issue is, because this is the stage, and these lifts collide with that part of the stage, and it just doesn't make sense from that point because they should combine perfectly together. The issue is it's that bloody freaking hallway. That's the issue, isn't it? It's the zigzag bit I'm going to have to implement. It's because of this doorway here, basically. What the issue is because if you've ever looked in the game, you literally just walk through onto the deck, but it's theoretically impossible. I've already pointed this up a million times, but I'll just show it again. Because, as you can see here, if you look at the hallway, you can see that the door doesn't match up with where it should be. So again, I'm going to have to build a custom hallway around there, which is going to be a zigzag at least. And this is why I've probably got this overarching issue here, because these are going to be so much bigger than they should be. And it's all because of that, because I'm having to push it upwards to do it. But I guess we can get to that point when we get there. It's just a case of getting it built. I shouldn't be worrying about it too much, but still, I'm going to. See, because I'm not making that stage shorter than what it is. I refuse to do it on principle because it's perfectly shaped and sized for what it is, and I don't want to be compromising that. And I'm just rambling, but I'm going to get this lift built now. I crumble if I ever figure out how I'm going to do it. Right, so obviously these are going to be linked. So let me just push this here. It's going to be the same height as that, isn't it? I'm not going to try and screw it up a bit. Just quickly do that. That makes it the correct size for that. So I'm just going to point out what I've already kind of debated on. If you're ever on this side of the ship, you've literally got two lifts that go up both floors. So you've got the standard one that's on 2F, one goes down to 1F obviously because that's the cargo hold. Then you got go up to 3 and 4. So what I am going to do is I'm going to make it so that one lift goes up to 3 and 4, 3 and 4, and goes to 2, and then another one that goes from 2 and 1 only. I think left's going to be 2 and 1, right's going to be 2, 3, 4. Then that way you've got to go through both different lifts rather than picking just one that takes you on all 4 floors. It's going to be a combination of using different ones to navigate through the decks on this particular side of the ship. But that's the idea I've kind of come up with for that. Because obviously if you're going to need the west side of the ship, obviously you're going to have all of them lifts all matching up with the floors above and down, because that's obviously where obviously your guests and all that are going to be, whereas this is more for crew only, because again it's going through to the cargo hold, it's going up into like the control room, captain's room, etc. So the idea is that they're not going to be linked like the ones on the west side of the ship, so they can only go to certain floors on the east side of the ship, which means you'd have to plan for it. That's the idea I've got going in my head, and I'm going to stick with that idea because it works logically and it's completely different from the game, because I don't want it to be exactly like the game. There has to be some compromises and some differences, and this is just one of them. So let's get started with this somehow. How in the bloody hell am I supposed to do this one? I mean, I know how it's supposed to be shaped, but see, again, it's the issue of that's. It's like I was saying, if it's going to link it up with that, that's how long it would be. There's no way a lift is going to be that long. It's too long for what it is. We could fit about 50 zombies in there and it would work, and that's not what it is. So I've got to find the compromise, which is going to be about that much. Oh, the confusion, like, just, sticking to me already. And that's pretty much how big it's going to be. I mean, I can get Barry and kind of like link it and get an idea of what the hell I'm on about, but it's not going to change. The position and everything, that's just how big it's going to have to be, because, let me just grab him and stick him in here. I mean, that's pretty much a standard lift size, isn't it? You want to get at least 2, 3 max in a lift, so that's the initial boundaries for it. I'm just going to have to build a wall there, though, for those doors to slide through. But then again, if it's going to be the way we're going to do it, I don't have to technically worry about the doors per se, because they'll just be an object that hopefully can be just slid open and then they slide shut as you're walking through. Maybe. I'd have to work. I'd have to ask the guys that. I already asked them about a similar idea that I wanted to implement in this hallway with these lifts, and it can be done. It's had nothing to do with changing like odds and evens for the, like certain lifts stopping at certain floors, because that's done with OT triggering and stuff. But it was for like another event idea I had going, so that's going to happen potentially. It's just a case of getting there, like everything else at the moment. So it's the right shape. If I make it any bigger, it's not going to work. Right, I'm happy with that shape. I'll just stick old Barry over there. So what I need to do here is just do a quick duplication, so that's where that one is. It's funny, isn't it? Because if you look at the... But then again, it's the thickness of those freaking walls, isn't it? Because obviously, again, sprite data. But then that's what these should be like. Right, so how am I going to make this lift interesting? See, again, I know I shouldn't even have the doors there, because we don't need the doors now. Because there should be a way to do those as 3D objects, so you can walk up to it. Like, I mean, I know I'm bringing this up like Resident Evil 3 when you do the lift in the hospital. And when you walk up to it and you trigger it, the doors open because it's a 3D object. I'm bloody sure I should be able to do that with scripting 2. Because it's not like it's that much difference between 2 and 3. Anyway, it's just rambling. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to conveniently move these doors out of the way. just like that. Not that we're going to potentially need them or anything, it's just in case we do. So I'm going to focus on these lifts now, for now. So these are just going to be like staff only type ships, so staff only type ships, staff only type elevator, lift, whatever you want to bloody call it, thing that goes up and down, left, right. Except this isn't bloody Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, but I thought I'd bring that up. I'll bring it up just for shits and giggles, so I'm going to do that there as the door. Now I know that they're on the back wall for the ups and downs with the lift buttons. I think we should have it like a standard lift, because that's obviously for gameplay reasons, because obviously you can't see the front wall in a sprite game, so we can have that because we don't have that issue here. But now I have to try and make these a little bit interesting, but without compromising the way this should look. But then I'm reiterating what I've already said for quite a long time. I don't actually know what like a lift would look like in this kind of a situation, because again, I've never been on a ship before, but they would be probably different for like staff only type lifts. But again, it's something I can't really confirm or deny, because again, never been on a ship. I couldn't give you a straight answer about it. Just push them out in a little bit, and then obviously I just need to grab these and push them out just a bit. That they're a bit too thin. That's a bit too thick. Perfect. So that's that. Should be easy to do a lift. I've done it that many of them over the years, but it's like, how do you do one that's designed specifically for a cruise liner? Because obviously there's going to be a difference between... But then again, on a standard ship, you know, the crew would just take it down lower, wouldn't they? They'd take it down lower decks. It wouldn't really matter what it would look like. But again, this is me saying it. My OCD, that's my OCD. Everyone's got their own OCD about things. Mine is, does it look like it's supposed to look like what it is, what it's trying to represent? Because otherwise, there's just no freaking point, is there? Let me just do a quick render test of this. Because this won't affect the whole way, because it's only going to affect in there. Right. Getting the cameras again. So what was the last one I used? Was that camera 5, camera 6, or camera 7? Are you here? So there is an advantage of obviously having all these cameras at my disposal, because I knew I'd end up using them in the end. Now let's see. Let's see what I can do here. Definitely going to have it against a wall for this. There we go. Probably push this out a bit and then kind of just go with that. And then kind of do this. See what happens when I do that one. So this is camera 7, isn't it? Ooh, definitely that needs to be definitely adjusted a bit better. We want to try and get that as central as possible, don't we? Yeah. Let's see what that one looks like. May need to push this up a bit. Make it kind of like the save room camera angles, like for Resident Evil 3, where they're just literally looking down like that. And then, what scale is this using? What FOV? If I set you to 80, that'll give me a bit more of a berth for it to look at. Let's see what we can. See, it's not going to work. No, I don't personally want it to have more than like 2 angles for an elevator, lift, or whatever you want to refer to it as, because it doesn't need one. Or did RE3 have 2? Something that small? Am I going to have to go and consult the renders themselves? Am I going to have to redo that again? Oh, go on. Let's go and have a look at the renders. Let's look at the BSSs again. You know, if someone who only just built these like how many years ago, I should know this by now. Let's have a look. So we're looking at rooms. This is just very confusing. What the hell's the hospital numbers then? I thought they would have been in the 3, no, they're 4, aren't they? So. Oh, they do have 2 angles. Oh, okay then. Fair enough. Yes, I'm doing 2 angles then, right, so I'll do... But let's see if I can try and put an angle on that one. See what happens there. See, that wasn't too bad. And then I need another angle for this, don't I? Which obviously the camera 8. That's it. So that's going to be obviously looking inwards at this. So just drag that in. That one won't be too bad actually. Let's have a look. See, that's all fine and dandy and everything, but then it's like, oh, I am so tempted to just make it so we rewrite an area of this game where at one point in it the lift is going to stick and you're not going to be able to go up the floor, and the only way to get up the floor, because you won't get access to the stairs at that point to get into this area, would be to climb through the elevator shaft and climb up that way, which would give us something else to add in as a room, because there's a lot of space that's unaccounted for. It could be done. That would be an interesting take. That's just an idea I'm floating through my head. I'm going to actually put that down as a note somewhere, and I'm going to talk to the others about it and see what they say, because again, we've got the story of Gaiden, obviously, but we can adjust it and configure it to our own needs, because again, if you've ever played it through, like I know I did years ago in 2020, there is so much backtracking for the most basic of objects that you need. It's like you'll go to one room, pick up a key, run all the way back through about 6 corridors, use that to unlock a door, go in there, find another key, and then it's a case of finding what other door, the key goes to which door. Excuse me. I need to have something a bit more substance-wise with that, because it's just boring and repetitive, and nobody wants that kind of like remake, do they? So I'm going to put that as a note, because that would actually be more interesting. Maybe come up with some sort of like cutscene sort of events as well, but that's just an idea. I'll float that around with them lot, because this is what I kind of do. See if I can make the angle a bit wider as well. that looks a bit more better, doesn't it? Let me just... I might not actually, because I want to carry on with doing the modeling for that. Right, I want to change that to 0.450. I don't want it too super uber bright. Yeah, that's fine. So... got those two in position. So what I need to do now is obviously give this a little bit more detail. And I also need to do an additional angle because clearly one's going to be on the button that you press, so I'm going to have to do that as well. So I need to do that. Do I need to look at buttons? Should I even need to look at buttons? I'm so tempted to do something a bit more modern. Because obviously when you're in RE3, there isn't obviously something that hits the thing and then you look at it apart from if you're in the dead factory and that's only one floor up and down. So I wonder if I can get a little bit more creative and have it so that it's like a... I wonder if we could do that. Yeah, another note to put down to ask the guys if it's possible to script. So basically, it'd have to be multiple freaking camera angles for that one thing, though, wouldn't it? So the idea I've got going is that, like you got like a digital output. You know, like there's some lifts where you've got like a digital output of what floor number you're on, and when you press the other button, it'll change, say, from 3 to 1. And it'll look on the digit display, it'll go from 3 to 1. I'm just using that as an example, so I'm just thinking, I wonder if we could implement that as like a modern type way of doing it, rather than pressing, just having it so it's like button press, sprite, down, rumble effect. So maybe have it as visual number on screen, press it, switches to number, goes down. And because obviously this one would have multiple floors because it would be 2 and 1. Whereas the other one would be 2, 3, 4 going up the ship, rather than this one going only down into the hold. And on this, it stops on this floor, so it has to go to 2. I'm going to have it that way. I'm going to have that as the idea. So I'm going to quickly build that. Let's have a look. Because again, that might be sprite based, I haven't a clue. See what I mean? It's just simple though, isn't it? I don't like simplistic 2-button combo things. That just makes the thing boring. Whereas if I do it my way, it's got like a visualization with buttons. And that's the way I want to do it, so I'm going to do it now. So let me just quickly build it. Then I can just scream in the corner when it all goes tits up like it probably will do. But I'm going to do it on the right hand side. So it's a bit too bloody big to begin with, so I need to just scale this a bit. Then right, okay. So let's split this up now. And then obviously I need to do the buttons. So just put those in as well. Okay, so buttons there. So they're going to come out like that. And you've got like the screen here. Which I'm just going to kind of push inwards. So like I say, that'll say whatever floor you're on, press button, it'll take you up or down depending on which way you look at it. I've just realised they could be circular, couldn't they? Oh, or do I just stick to bog standard buttons because I'm a boring person like that? Now with square buttons. Square buttons are the future, damn it. Let's go with that. But I think I might bevel those edges just to make them a bit smoother. I'll do, let me just do this one. So those are those done. It's them done. Stick with that. Right, so what I need to do now is, of course, I need another camera in position here. So it's got camera 9, isn't it? Can grab the camera freaking 9. Camera 9. But I need to obviously change the all FOV for this entire camera because it's not going to be wanting to show anything but that button. So again, this is like when you're doing puzzle ideas. I know I went on it in the previous stream about like you adjust the FOV of the camera because you're only interested in whatever it is, like the puzzle you're trying to basically show the camera. So for this, we only want to be able to pretty much lock on to that elevator button. Obviously, I like to move that in a bit more water. Move that out a bit. Maybe move it in a little bit more. That's about right. Because again, you don't want it to be focusing on anything else. You want to focus on the button pressing and the elevator. So this is the only thing you should be able to see. Now I need to know if I've got this at kind of like the right height for hand and what have you. Suppose so to some extent. Excuse me. So what I can do is I just want to grab these. But then again, I don't want to finish this just yet. I need to finish designing this, give it a bit more intrigue. I need to give it a bloody beam going across, for example, because you know you need to be holding on to one of those if anything here happens, so I need to put one of them in. God, this is going to look so generic, isn't it? It's not like everything I've bloody built. But it's not like it's hard to do. Just go and get this script and make another pipe. Instruction, it's not. Quick update on this. Copy and paste all these little commands in. Run the script. Right. So I want to make a new pipe. I want to make it 16. Set it to 1 for now because that can be like the front part. And then I just want to set this to 5. Bend it. I'm going to change the curve scale somewhat so it's like that. And I'm just going to add a pipe, set that to 0, bend it 0 there. That pipe, let's see if I can get this to work like I wanted it to. Scale this down. You have to keep scaling it down because that's a bit too bloody big, isn't it? needs to fit just the right amount. So I need to rotate you. That's right. Don't know why it's done that again. I remember this bloody happened last time. I couldn't figure out why. Okay. Soften those edges. Done. Okay. So what I want to do is just quickly duplicate this. Flip that negative 90. And I just want to do a quick duplication of that one. Leave that there, you'll see why in a minute. I don't want to extrude, I want to combine these, then set the pivot. Then just want to grab those, drag them in. Merge them together. Then this I'm just going to make a little bit smaller. I've got this the way I was thinking, wasn't it? I'm going to have to redo this. I'm drawing a blank here. Right, let's see. I think I might be drawing a blank here. Or am I? I don't know what I want it to look like. Do I need to push that there? Yeah, that's what I wanted. So I didn't really need any of this. I could just go boom. Just drag that in there so it's embedded in the wall. So drag it there. Just push that in a bit. And just want to grab these and just spontaneously put them in places. Right, so that's the... Obviously switch it over on the opposite side, so there's two of them. That's it. That's all you need for those, and then that's that lift technically done. I just have to do the opposite one, but that'll be the same process, so not worrying about it too much. Really wish I didn't have to bloody do that, but again. So now what I can do is I can just duplicate this and flip it. Like so. So that's that one on that side. It's there like that. I think I'm going to have to definitely extrude those out. So what I can now finally do is add that to the corridor bound, so I can't select it anymore. I just need to drag that up a bit, that up a bit, which then obviously means I have to move these up a bit. Well, then we've got to do the same on this side, so I'm just going to drag that up a little bit, drag that up a little bit, and then just obviously just these, so because I can get them. Obviously, because I've got all that done, all I've got to technically do is just duplicate that and drag it over. Delete that version I did. And then just grab those bits here. Like so, and then just duplicate them over. And just add a new set of angles in there, just duplicate that bloody light source there. Just plug that in there. And now obviously I need to do another set of cameras for that one, which I'll do in a minute. I just want to check what the hallway looks like with them without doors. Yeah, they look fine, don't they? Right, so that one's camera 9, we'll get the last one. So camera 10 now. Of course, the best thing about this is I don't actually have to emulate that last angle I did. I could literally just have it so the angle is facing here when you're coming out the door. But then it's inside, isn't it? So, that's what it looks like. So look how this looks now. It's fair enough. Right, so next one, camera 11. I've realised this has actually got the max amount of cameras we can use per room in here for these cameras. I didn't know that. So I'm actually going to be breaking the camera numbers. Good, I like that. We've only been doing like basic amounts for the other rooms, so finally hitting a thick 50 max angle room in a stream, that's an achievement for me. So that's camera 11. It's fine, now I just need to do camera 12. Same with before. Where are we? Perfect. So I just want to get camera 12 right up with the call button here. And I just want to name, obviously set this to 54.61. So it's only focusing on that. So I've got those cameras in position, so I need to add bloody door buttons on the opposite side. I think I'm just going to grab these and just reuse them, to be honest with you, because I'm very, very cheap like that. So I'm going to have these on the left hand side though. I don't know why. So at least all them are done. So every area in these rooms is done. Got a few room cameras left over, so it's not hitting the maximum of 15, which is good. Not yet anyway. So now the only thing I have to potentially do is just start texturing. And also give these hallways as something a little bit more interesting. But there really isn't anything interesting to look at in this, because the sprites just don't give you anything. They really don't. Apart from the fire extinguisher on the wall, that's all I can really do anything with. But there's got to be something I can do. Something just to make that floor look so more interesting. Or these walls, because they just look so basic bitch. It's like, what the hell? Right, what I'll do... I know what I need to do. Oh no, tell me I didn't do what I thought I'd do, you idiot. Well, that's typical of me, isn't it? Right, so that's not going to go down well, is it? Because these were supposed to already be there. Right, but I can delete these because you're going to see those. Let's get a little bit of optimization going for this. Right, so what I need to do... You didn't put them on those sides of the doors, did you? Doing. Should be on this door as well. Can we keep a consistency? So let me just quickly model them. And then let me just grab those edges and bevel these, just like I did with those ones in the last video. Don't think I need to do the top bit, do I? Nay. Quickly grab them, do that, perfect. So I just want to grab, not everything obviously, so I don't want to be highlighting, definitely don't want to be re-highlighting them, just those top bits, gone. Right, so all of this top section here needs to be extruded. The only problem is I didn't leave that part there to do that. Hello. Uh-huh. I'm probably going to try to do that. Right, that was very confusing. Huh? Like I said, so what I'll have to do is I'm just have to cut this out. I'm going to have to like break that down at a later date. That's what'll happen when you don't pay attention to what you're trying to do when it comes to the ceiling, right? So there is like in the sprite, like a little bit of the section of that roof, like sticking out that part. There's a slight wall sticking out. So I'm just going to assume it's sticking out like this. So I'm going to do it now, but I'm only going to focus on the side bits first, not the front bits. So I'll highlight those, and then not that bit, want that bit. And I just want to pull these out a bit, potentially covering up those because that's what I want. And that's perfect. And then I just need to do the front ones. So I'll just grab these. I should just rip the bloody roof off. And I can go back to that one later. So that's what that is. No, that's going to highlight everything, which I don't want. I only want the front bits now. Okay. Let's pull them out. Oh yeah, that's a good point because I haven't got anything on the side there, have I? I'm just going to make an assumption and assume that's what it should be in lengthwise for that. But again, there's no sideways ones for those. Just do a quick render test now. Done. And that just makes it a bit more detailed. It makes it look a bit more interesting. So just be a flat bloody wall, but it's how you interpret it for it. It will be when it's done. I think at a count that there's like 10 of these rooms finished for this project so far on this side. So a few I need to tweak. But technically it's not a game, it's a mod, but we'll brushstroke it, whatever which way you want to refer to it as, because technically it's not a new game, because it's just remaking Gaiden, but in 3D. So technically that game exists, but it's also expanding it. It's making it a lot more interesting, because if I have to do 300 doors to get a key and then do another fetch quest to get another key and I have to walk down about 6 floors to do it, that is not playing a Resident Evil game. So it's just adapting to what I can do for it. But when you try to translate like 8-bit sprites into like 32-bit 3D and high poly 3D for rendering, it's like, what can you add in? What can we improve on to make it look interesting? And that's where I start hitting my limits, so to speak. Excuse me. Definitely going to have to do some of those like metal things I've already gotten done from the RE3 stuff, and I'll just throw them in as well. God, it really does look basic pitch without anything. Do I... Project Starlight is the code name for the Resident Evil Gaiden remake. So if you've played Resident Evil Gaiden, this is a remake of that, but this is being done in the original Resident Evil engine and not done as obviously 8-bit game like the original. It's been done as a full 32-bit game. So it's going to be pre-rendered environments rather than sprites. So that's what Project Starlight is. And that's the name we came up with for the project. So that's what stuck, and that's what I've used ever since. So I hope that makes a bit of sense now. But that's the gist of it. When we did re-announce this project, I know that you're missing out if you've not played the original Resident Evil games. Take that from me. Yeah, this isn't like a I mean, the project started a while back, this, but then it kind of went into dead mode, like, because there was all kinds of issues that happened. So I got asked if I'd go in and start doing some of the background work for a relaunch of the project in a sense, and I said, yeah, I'll do it. And this is where we're at now. And this was actually featured in Kotaku Australia and quite a few online like places like Relying Horror and that did an article about it last year, I think, or the year before when we announced this. I think it was last year. And we've just been dabbling along with it when we've had the spare time to do it. Because again, it's a non-for-profit modification. We've all got like stuff to do, like in the real world, but when we've got a bit of time left, like I've got, I'm just cramming in as much stuff as I can on these streams, so people can see like what these rooms will look like in renders. But obviously, you're only looking at one aspect of it. You're not seeing it in engine, not being able to walk around the room, see all the stuff I've done here in the tech area being put into the game. But once you see that, that's when we'll have a bit of fun. Eventually, when we get there. So yeah, my whole like role and responsibility is redoing all the background work. But I'm supposed to be getting help from one of the other guys eventually, because again, this is a ship that bloody long, and then we still got to do the submarine, and then we'll probably be like, oh, but we could add so much more to this game, and then that's when we'll go all topsy bloody turvy, and then that'll be the end of it. But we've got like no limit as far as I know. It's just a case of trying to figure out what the bloody hell I can put in these rooms to make them interesting. Oh, in terms of just making it looking so that it's a bit more not flat, but also makes it interesting, because it because when you're obviously looking at it from a sprite's perspective, you're not getting a lot of detail, because again, 8-bit, but at the same time, when you look at it, it's like there's so much more detail we could put into that like corridor or in that room, and we kind of can expand it. With this, I am just literally like, oh, I could do this, I could do that. Could always put one of the life boys in there from out on the deck. I know I need to put the fire extinguishers in. Did I model a fire extinguisher? Let me go check. Let me check the main deck. Where did I call you? Deck one up. Save that. Right, so what have I got? Is it just the life boy? Well, have I got that? Oh, did everybody... Oh, no, it's those little box things, wasn't it? Ooh, maybe I could do that. And if I was being clever, I could use all them. Have some of them in there. Have it so you can open those up. Could actually have it so that we could actually have that as an open puzzle, which could have a lock around it, which means that you'd have to use something to break the lock. So I'm pondering ideas. This usually happens, and then I start writing notes down, and I kind of like confer with the other guys in the project, and I go, can we do this? Can we do that? And they kind of give me a definitive answer to, yeah, we can do that. But it literally depends on what my idea is, because, again, I don't want to go crazy with the ideas. Right, so we won't need to do those lifeboy things, but we could easily add some of those in. Even if I don't technically use them for anything. Oh, but I did say I was going to do some pipes as well in that room, just to make it more interesting, because it just looks so flat at the moment. But then again, the question is now, if I do that, then I'm going to do hazard lights with them, don't we? Shit, I don't know what I'm doing. Right, ignore that. Let's just ignore those. Because again, that's just one of the older rooms. It's just me trying to figure out if I can use stuff. But we shouldn't have to use things like that. Yeah, but then you start getting issues where everything looks the same, and then it's generic, and I'm just trying to figure out how I can make this hallway look a lot better than what it bloody is in the sprite. How can I do it? Transparent. I mean, at least on the plus side, it's fit in the game space, so it's not going to have any issues with that. and it hasn't hit the maximum camera use yet, because the maximum camera angles that you can use is 15 in the original. No, it's 16, isn't it? 16 angles that a standard Resident Evil 2 room has, and then like Resident Evil 3 standard is 32 camera angles per room, because obviously they improved the engine a bit. So I've not even used the full 16 yet. There's a few left I can use, but I'm just trying to figure the bloody thing out. Do I put those in? But then again, I've got those hazard lights, haven't I? But did I create that as an asset that I could actually... No. Fine. Which room did I put them in? Right. HL, hang on, so if I go import, did I actually call it HL? Hazard light. Oh, I did. Right there. I just didn't call it what I wanted it. Right, so if that's the case, I can just grab a bunch of them and just dump them in on the walls. That'll make them interesting. No, that's it. Right, I only need one. That's it. So if I put these on the wall, just put them down a bit. Because obviously I've got them on the other parts of this ship. It makes sense if the hazard lights are in the hallway, in case the power goes out. But I need to make sure they're not looking like they're on. Oh, that's true. It's true. A lot of the assets I've already previously used in these rooms I've taken from other projects and just reutilised. It's usually just like tables and stuff. But again, like, I'll get the map up. The little hallway. So we're not the one that's like closest to the deck with the holes in, which is on the bow of the ship. So that little L shape, which is the one I'm building now, which is all blue. It just doesn't have detail on it, because again, we're dealing with 8-bit sprites. But again, as much as it is that is the room, just leave it. I just need to add something to it, just to make it stand out more, because otherwise it just looks, well, to me it looks boring, but that could be to anybody else. It might be fine. Could do it that way. Oh, but then again, I just want to make those transparent as well. And then I just want to duplicate one there. I'm just trying to like bring in assets I've already previously used in other rooms, so it just makes it look more interesting. Which this is doing perfectly. Yeah, we're going to need like a million of these, are we? So, that one could be there. I could probably shove that one there. Move that one along a bit, actually. Yeah. Just try to like think of a bit of like realism as well, because obviously there would be hazard lights in these sort of hallways if the power ever did go off. Well, technically they're not my ideas for sprites, it's the original game. That's what it was. It was an 8-bit game for the Game Boy Color, so that's what that was. This is remaking that in full 3D. So That's what we're trying to do with this project, because Gaiden doesn't have a 3D version. It's just a 2D game. So we're making it fully 3D. But it's obviously going to be in the style of the original Resident Evil games because we're using that engine. So it's all going to be PS1 style with pre-rendered environments. So it's taking those 8-bit sprites into full 3D. But again, yeah, so when it goes to translating those 8 bits to 32, some of the rooms look a bit bland for what they are, because again, it's sprites we're dealing with those. So we get a little bit of a wiggle room with it, because obviously we can change some of the textures and vice versa, but it also gives us a bit more wiggle room in that you can only see like the back of the room and the sides of the room. You don't see the front, so we can do whatever the hell we want with the front of the room. But within theory, we can add a bit more into the sides and back if it makes it more interesting. So that's what we're trying to do with this project. Nothing to do with the fact that Gaiden's a pain in the ass of a game to play, because it's nothing like a Resident Evil game at the end of it all, because you don't do the traditional shooting, because it goes into like a first person with a bloody gauge that goes backwards and forwards, and that's how you attack the enemies. It's not like your old school games, and we're going for old school with this, and that's the way it should be, or it should have been. But that's the gist of it. So I'm just doing all the data for the rooms themselves, because they have their own separate entity tables, like for rooms and stuff, and it's all room datas. And each room data represents a certain room, camera angles, scripts, the lighting, but this isn't the lighting that we're going to use in game, the block data, collision data, everything is done in those room datas. So I'm just building that at the end, but I have to build all of the core 3D stuff, because obviously it's going to be a blank room otherwise. I think that's that. I can start giving it texturing then. Right, I think in terms of what I can see, I'm going to start texture phase then. I'm thinking I can use the main Dex texture for this though, because that'll just make it that much more interesting. I'll show you what I mean now, because that should have loaded up when I imported the asset. Yeah. But did I name it anything? Not that one. It's that one, isn't it? Yeah. The whole deck. Which would make it interesting, because it's following on from that. It makes it a bit more interesting than bog standard blue, which makes no frigging sense. Why would they have it as bog standard blue? I'll never know. Right. So I only want to do the walls, not the floor. So if I can just kind of like highlight that, but not the floor. Let's see what I can do with it. Right, let me see. What have I highlighted? No, I don't want that floor highlighting, so I'm going to do that as its own texture. They're different, aren't they? Yeah, I nearly bloody would be. Right, so I need to unhighlight them. Just unhighlight that bit as well. Just patch that in where I need to. So do those last. I just need to unhighlight that bit there. Okay. It's fine because that's covering all that in it. Right, so I didn't get the texture on. Wherever that is. That's the wrong bloody room. That's the wrong bloody command. That's the wrong bloody menu. Come on, where are you? That's it. Slap that on. Right, so I'm going to do this in bits. I might need to actually split that up a bit, so the textures are a bit more even. The thing is, I shouldn't really be worrying about textures in general because, again, it's pre-rendered, but at the same time, I'm a stickler for that kind of thing. And if it doesn't, like, conform to it, I kind of get a bit freaked out about it. And I know I can do this at the end, but I'd rather get this done now so I can get a head start, look at what works, what doesn't, and then go from there. Right, let's just give a quick test around it to see what this looks like. See, that isn't too bad looking because it's the inside and it wouldn't need to be all pretty looking because, again, decor way, isn't it? I just need to adjust the normal mapping a little bit though. But that floor's going to be a pain in the ass. Because how would we interpret the floor when it's only a bloody blue sprite? Let's think about this for a minute. Oh, that's a bit too much. Don't need those. Did they have bottom bits? I didn't know they had bottom bits. I've got rid of them. Okay, just get rid of them now then. Done. So, right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to break this off. Excuse me. Excuse me again. I'm going to name that floor. I'm going to add that to its own layer. And then I'm just going to make it so... looking at that at the minute. So what I need to do is give it a floor. The absolute problem is trying to figure out what kind of floor I can give it. Because it wouldn't be wooden. Let's have a look. See what I can... No, it's not going to be wood. It's not going to be wooden decking. there'd be no need for wooden decking in an area like that. It needs to be something a bit more interesting. What can I get my hands on? Why is it always called wood? Why did it not cover anything else, like texture-wise? Yeah, that's a deck. Alright then, be a smart ass. Let's look for an inner floor texture then. Oh, you're just taking the piss now, aren't you? Right, is there anything I can use? Right, ignoring wood, what else is used? All that. Don't believe I'm looking up bloody ship information now. I can't believe this. Oh yeah, let's just do a stream about building a ship and let's look at some ship information so we can figure stuff out. Right, but then... see, additional wood deck, modern constructed decks, fiberglass. What? Okay then, let me look at a fiberglass floor then. It's a bit basic, isn't it? I don't like it. I don't like the way it looks. But that's what apparently it would be using, so I guess I'm gonna use it. Don't want to make it blue. Blue would make it boring. And it shouldn't be wood because it's not that kind of wood. Right, I'm going to use that, but I'm going to change the colour of it. Oh, hang on. No, that's a bit too obscure looking. Stick to the one I was going to use. Change the colour for it. Right, copy that. Quickly do a Photoshop with this and see if I can get it to look interesting. Right, I'll make this like set a darker brown, greeny colour. And then just obviously use it as the colour method, or maybe multiple. Maybe overlay. Right, okay, that'll do. Quickly have a look at this. Wrong folder, want guide and stuff, don't I? Source images. So this is, I'm going to call it East Deck 2F Vortex. Why is it saving it as a JPEG? I want it as a target. Okay. Let's see what this looks like when I do this then. So that's it. I'm going to give it a bling. because I want it to be a little bit reflective, but not obviously not too reflective. So I'll change that in a minute. So that's that. So I don't want it to be reflective at all, because I don't want it reflecting anything apart from what I need it to. Let's do some quick optimization here. Don't need them. Get that one, and potentially that one too. I can get rid of those there. That should be fine. Let's have a look then. Right, let's have a look now what it looks like. Better than friggin' blue, that's for sure. I'll shut Photoshop down so it's not interfering with that. Now the walls don't look bloody right though, do they? Look a bit bloody obscure. Right, so I'm gonna see if I can figure something else out now. Don't really want to be sticking a generic metal silver texture on though, because that'll just look boring. But then again, it's kind of what it would be. Let's go with that. So let me just yeah, I think it's definitely going to have to be like a so metal. So again, we'll go with bling. Obviously a lot brighter. I'm going to change the reflective to at least 0.050 because you don't want it too reflective. Maybe make it a little bit eccentric and do a little bit of specularity on it. In fact, I could probably just do the whole hallway like that. But then it looks a little bit weird, doesn't it? Like that. I don't think it looks that weird. I think I just need to turn that floor a bit darker though, which I could probably control within Miner itself. Yeah, let me grab that. I don't want to make it transparent. I don't want to make it bright. It's diffuse it. Make it darker. Ah, shit, I put those highlights there, don't I? So this is just me trying to finish it out now, isn't it? I definitely think pipes should be used in there because it'll just make that look a lot more interesting. So I guess I'll be putting pipes in because, again, it's when you try to take sprites to 3D and you've got that wiggle room, you might as well just throw piping in because it just looks weird without piping. So we put some piping in. That's a new pipe. 16. Set it to wall, make this the straight, so one adder pipes, set it to 5. 90, I'll change that curve scale, then finish the pipe for now. You can have those sticking out the wall. Okay, I want to change this and give it a different bloody texture though, don't I? Because it should be proper metal texture. What's that? Put the pipe in then. I just want to push some of these. It's fine. Put like 2 there. I'm just trying to get ideas for this, but I can just throw pipes wherever now because, again, throwing pipes in it'll just make it that bit more interesting. It won't make it look boring. Only thing is the security room and all that's gonna look fucking basic bitch as hell, isn't it? Let me continue with me pipes. Because obviously it means I can just go absolutely ape shit with these because I've got no restrictions for them. Because pipes are pipes. Right, so I can have that one kind of in the wall there. Could have it there. Just duplicate that. Go down there. And then I might decide, okay, well, let's put it going this way then. And just keep adjusting it to how we can. So it might just be that I'm going to have that like that. But then I might decide it's going to go in that part of the wall there. I just need to put that around like that. Do a quick re-render of that. So you see now it's starting to look a bit more interesting because there's actually stuff on the walls. But obviously I could put like corkboards on there as well. So I'm not restricted to stuff I need to do. I said to put the fire extinguisher on there. But I think I'm going to do it proper, like it is in a proper situation, not like the Sprite where it's just stuck on the wall. Because you don't stick a fire extinguisher to a wall like that in the real world. Another one in. Put it above there though. Gonna have to like maybe stop it there potentially. So I need to But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to scale in just a little bit, make those actually smaller, and do about 3 of them coming off from there. Just to make that part of the ceiling look a bit more interesting. Could do that actually as well. I can just literally take this here and put one of them in there as well, probably on that corner, put it here. Again, you'd be surprised how many times I can get away with reusing these. Sort of stick that metal texture on I'm using for that one. Then obviously I want to extend that so it's like this. So there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to just separate these, and I'm just going to do a duplicate of these a few. So that's a few more like beams to the wall. I think what I'm going to have to do as well is I'm going to have to reduce the reflectivity on that bloody texture I've done for the wall, because it just looks a bit too... So 0.050, so I'll put it at 0.025. Let's see what that looks like. That's better. It's just dull enough that you can see it's reflecting. That's what you want. The other thing is it just looks a bit blank because it's white. If I turn it grey, it'll look weird. Maybe I need to make another bling actually. Obviously just drop the reflectivity down, just put a little bit of eccentricity on it. A little bit of specular roll off. The other thing is that it looks like it's the same colour now, doesn't it? So if I change the diffused, I'll make it look a bit bigger, I mean darker. Oh, one on this wall as well, because if there's anything about consistency, it's usually me in the end of it. Just want to make that longer though. Shit, I need to do those with the buttons as well, don't I? I'll do that with the buttons now. I think we've got a glass texture to work with for that. So that obviously is just going to have glass applied to it. And then I'll give it something more than that because it's going to look freaking boring. Get it the same colour as that, but I want to give it the red buttons as well. So if I do that, give it red, make it bright, make it a little bit transparent, not too much. I'll just do those for the buttons. I need to adjust that actually. One there. Um, I haven't put the hazard thing in. Am I going to be able to do that with that wall? Yeah. Because they've got those hazard textures, aren't they, above there. So if I do that now, and just highlight what I need to do. So they're above. Just highlight these lights so I know where they're at. Right, so it needs to be above that, doesn't it? So I'm going to say about here. So I just want to go into me outline again, what do I stare, hypershade, what do you want to call it? Stripe. And then just grab that from Revisited because it's I use it on everything, so that'll do. That there, and we want one there. Just want to shrink this in quite a bit. Actually, that's fine. Those are supposed to be inwards, aren't they? Shit. It's not like it's going to be hard per se, because all I have to technically do with these bits here is rip them off and push them back. It's just going like that, don't they? Excuse me. Okay, let me readjust this room. Its parameters again. Card right, so push these in now. Oh, this is going to be fun, isn't it? Alright. and delete that bit. I'm gonna have to like do some adjustments here. Oh shit! Right. Don't do that yet. I still technically need to bloody fix this, don't I? Ugh. Right, so I just need to do some quick adjustments. Nothing too drastic. And obviously the idea is these, extrude them. Just want to push that bit out a bit. And then just push these like that. Yeah, that's what they're supposed to look like. Well, at least I'm fixing it to fit and not going crazy doing it. Right, best thing about this though is I can actually just duplicate that and just drag that there. Delete that bit. That's done. Could be that's a bit longer though. I don't like that, do I? Can't really tell, can you? Yes, we'll add a few more pipes there as well. Just to keep the flow going, as it were. Oh, right, let me pipes in random places. That's because it's just making it blind, isn't it? So I'm wanting to add those lights. No, how would you do it? Oh, I suppose I could take those ones from the side. I can put them in because that would work, and it would look fine there on the top of the wall like that. So I'm going to do that. Where are you at? Them ones. So just gonna so and history, non-deformer history for that. Right, let me see what happens when I do this now. Didn't import it, perfect. So I just want to put these on here. Make it as central as possible. Not going to render anything because that's the way it is. Yeah, that'll do for that. I just want to put one above this door. Which one's supposed to be showing that door? Number 6, isn't it? So probably sneak a pipe up that wall there actually. Maybe do a smaller one. And just there. No, not that one, that one. There, what I'll do is I'll finish up the stream now because I only do 2-hour streams max. Sometimes I'll go a little bit over, but hopefully we'll have to do that today. That's perfect. Right. So I'll end the stream here. So progress made. Looks more interesting. Not as bland and boring as it was before. Still need to do the insides of the lifts, but after all that's done, this room is finished. which is good. So, just like to thank everybody who has watched this stream and commented on it. Should be back to do a stream, I think Saturday. What we're on Wednesday, so Thursday, Saturday I'll be doing the next one. So it means I can do some stuff in the meantime. So if you do like the progress, obviously keep following the project, because I'm only just one half of this project. There's all the other guys as well. Hopefully we'll have something to show soon regarding this. And hopefully you won't just see these as renders, you'll be able to actually see us put them in and see the characters walking around in the engine. That's a whole different thing though. So I'll be back with the next stream on a Saturday. Potentially the same time, so I do it at 4 PM my time, so that's British Standard Time, or Greenwich Mean Time, depending on which way you want to say it. So it's whatever time that is in whatever part of the country you're from. So that's this one done.